Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
We use the keyword abstract before the method, and an abstract method has no implementation. Usually when we have a method, here we don't end it with a semicolon. We use the flower braces to define the body of the method, right? Instead of defining it, we just declare the method. So without having the braces, the method declaration is followed by a semicolon. So we cannot make a variable as abstract. There are no abstract fields. We cannot make a variable as abstract. Abstract is a keyword which we can apply to methods and classes, not for fields, not for variables. So we use the keyword abstract before a class or method to make them as abstract. So in an abstract class, we can declare variables. We can declare non-abstract methods also. Non-abstract methods, we call it as like the concrete methods or the implemented methods. And we can have abstract methods also. So when an abstract class is inherited, right, the subclass has to provide implementation for all the abstract methods. So folks, just like an interface, we cannot create object of an interface, or we cannot instantiate an interface. In a similar way, we cannot create object of an abstract class. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated. So what is the purpose of an abstract class? There should be some class which inherits the abstract class and provides the behavior for all the abstract methods in the parent class. If it is not providing the implementation for all the abstract methods, even the subclass has to be made abstract. Even though we name the class as abstract class, an abstract class is not 100% abstract. We can define methods in an abstract class. In interface, the variables are public, static, and final. But in an abstract class, you can have a normal variables, you can have instance variables and non-final variables also.
But we cannot instantiate the abstract class, right?
No, we cannot instantiate abstract class. For abstract class and interface, we cannot create object of an abstract class. So the purpose of an abstract class, or how we use it, is there will be some class which extends the abstract class and provide behavior for all the abstract methods.
So when do we use an abstract class and when do we use an interface?
Abstract class is like when we have some common behavior. The common behavior, we're going to put it in the defined method. We know that behavior is common. We define those methods. But if the behavior is different for different things, we make the method as abstract so that we leave for the subclasses to define their behavior. But interface, we cannot define. Interface is just a contract on what we are doing. Even the common behavior, we cannot define it. There is no way that we can define a method in an interface. An interface is 100% abstract. But an abstract class is not 100% abstract. We can have defined methods and we can have abstract methods in an abstract class. But even one abstract method makes the entire class as abstract. If you have an abstract method in a class, we have to mark the class as abstract.
Overloading.
So, I'm sorry?
overloading, you can, if you are declaring a overloading class, you can also have different methods for different classes, right? Then what is the
why is overloading come into picture here? I'm just confused here. What is the question?
Here you are saying the abstract class, you will have a class, and other classes that extends this abstract class can have methods, and each method can have different implementation behaviors, right? The same you can do with overloading, right?
No, I'm saying different behavior in each implemented classes. Overloading is you have different inputs, right? In overloading, you have different inputs. You have change in method arguments, right? For example, if you have an abstract class and 10 classes are extending the abstract class, the signature is going to be same in all the classes, right? You don't change the signature. But in overloading, the arguments are different, right? There have to be difference in arguments for method overloading, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I have an abstract method here. See, I have defined an abstract method. So how do you understood that it's an abstract method? There is a keyword abstract before the method declaration, which makes the method as abstract. When method is abstract, I cannot define the method. I cannot say like this. It gives me a compilation error saying the abstract method cannot be defined or cannot specify a body for the abstract method. So when we have an abstract method in a class, the class has to be marked abstract. See, vehicle must be an abstract class to define abstract methods. Right? So when a vehicle is an abstract class, can we create object of vehicle class? No, right? So why is it giving us compilation error here? When we extend an abstract class, we have to provide behavior for all the methods. For all the abstract methods. When a class is extending an abstract class, the class has to provide behavior for all the abstract methods. It is saying the type car must implement the inherited abstract method accelerate, right? So folks, when we do it, observe the entire method signature is same. The return type, the name of the method, and the argument list are same. We have to provide the behavior of the method in the inherited class. So folks, any doubts on that? Abstract is a keyword which we can apply to methods and classes. When we make a method as abstract, we cannot specify the body of the method. We cannot specify the body of the method. That's what we tried out here, right? So when it is abstract, when we have a method as abstract method in the vehicle class, it forces us to make the class as abstract. See? Even one abstract method makes the entire class as abstract. Right? And if you observe, in an abstract class, we can have defined methods. See? We have defined the move method, right? In the abstract class. So, in an abstract class, we can have both abstract and non-abstract methods. Even you have one abstract method in your class, right? You have to make the entire class as abstract. We have to make this class as abstract. Okay? And we cannot create object of an abstract class. So what do we do with an abstract class? We create a class which extends the abstract class. So when we extend an abstract class, we have to provide behavior for all the abstract methods. So if I don't provide behavior for the abstract method, so what is the error that it gives? The car must implement the inherited abstract method vehicle. So I can do two things to resolve this error. I can make car also as abstract. When we make car as abstract, we cannot create object of the class car. But usually, when we are extending an abstract class, we provide the behavior for the abstract method. So, we provide the behavior for the abstract method over here, and we can create object of the class car, because car is not the abstract class, right?
So when we create an abstract class called car, right? We cannot. Let's say we have already specified objects before, like like a Mercedes or inside the car, and then we make the car abstract. So what happens to the objects? They disappear?
We cannot create object of an abstract class. You should observe something. See, we compile the code and then objects get created at the runtime, right? There is nothing, you create an object and then make it as abstract. That doesn't happen, Neil. You understand? We write the code and see, we cannot compile the code at all. If I make the car class as abstract, right? If I make the car class as abstract, forget about the runtime and I won't be able to compile the code at all. Cannot instantiate the type car. We cannot create object of an abstract class.
Oh.
So we are not going to the runtime at all to create objects. We are prevented doing this in the compile time itself.
Okay.
So when we have code, first we compile it and then we run the program, right? So we cannot compile it itself. So if I try to run it, let's say it says compilation error. Unresolved compilation error. Cannot instantiate the type car, right?
Oh, okay.
So we cannot compile the code at all. We cannot create object of an abstract class.
Okay. My question was that if you have a class and you actually you have a class called car, you already created object, and then you put it as an abstract.
We cannot do that because the object gets created at the runtime. If it is abstract, the class is abstract or not, we decide it at the compile time. That is what I have just showed you, right?
Yeah. But my question was that if we have already created objects, right, before this,
we can only create objects in the runtime. Objects doesn't get created at the compile time, right?
Okay.
We cannot create objects at all. First, the code should compile, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, my code should get compiled. Then only I can run the code, right?
Okay. Yes.
The objects get created at the runtime. When we run it, from your code, the objects get created, right?
Okay,
if at all it has to run, it has to get compiled first, right?
Yes.
When I try to create an object of an abstract class, we just saw it, we get a compilation error.
Yeah.
Right? So which means the code doesn't compile itself. Right? So when I'm saying this, the code doesn't compile itself. So it doesn't go there at the runtime. We cannot run it at all because we don't have the compiled class file or we don't have the bytecode, right?
Okay.
You understood it?
Yes.
Good. So folks, any other doubts before I go ahead and explain wrapper classes?
Neha?
Yes?
We can have final method in abstract class, right? Final method with implementation, right?
You're saying you want to have a final method?
Yeah.
We can have final method. But for the same method, right? For the same method, we cannot make, let's say, both final and abstract. Folks, this is something really interesting. In an abstract class, we can have normal implemented methods, we can have final method, and we can have abstract method also. But for a same method, I cannot make both final and abstract. What is the meaning of a final method? We cannot override it, right? For an abstract method, we have to override it. Final and abstract keywords cannot go together. I can define a final method in an abstract class, but I cannot mark the same method as both final and abstract. You understand? Shiny, is that clear for you?
My doubt was like a method is not final in the abstract class, but when I implement it in the subclass, I make it as final.
Okay, here.
So that would work, right?
Yes. You have a method move in the vehicle class. You want to make this move method as final in the car class. right?
Yeah, subclass. Yeah, correct.
Yes. So what happens if I create another car RD, if I create another class, say RD extends car, this method cannot be overridden in the RD class. Okay?
Okay, fine. Yeah, got it.
Yes, if I make final here, the subclasses of car class cannot override this method. Shaili, are you clear? Okay, folks. Any other doubts before I move to wrapper classes? I'm going to discuss it.
Yeah, I have one doubt. In an abstract class, you can also define public static variables, right?
Yes, we can also define public static variables.
Okay, so
we can define any variable in an abstract class. There is no restriction for it.
Okay, so if in an abstract class I define variable as public static, I can very much use it as an interface, right? Logically.
There is no point in using abstract class as an interface. You already have an interface, right?
Yeah.
But why do we want to use an abstract class as an interface? You can create normal variables also, instance variables also in an abstract class, which you cannot do that in an interface. You cannot create instance variables in an interface, right?
Yeah.
But we can create instance variables in an abstract class, which is not possible in an interface. In an interface, we cannot create instance variables.
Okay.
Right? There is a restriction, or in interface, we can create only public static and final variables. But in an abstract class, we can have non-final variables, and we can have instance variable, which is not possible with an interface.
Okay.
Okay, folks, we have something called as a wrapper class in Java. So, what is a wrapper class? We say everything what we have in Java is an object, right? We discuss collections in the coming classes, but even in the collections is nothing but a data structure which holds a group of data, more than one data. Okay, even what we can put in a collection is an object. Folks, when I say primitives or primitive data types, they all mean the same. Data types or primitives or primitive data types, which we have learned in the earlier classes in char, boolean, and all that, right? So we cannot put primitives in a collection, or we cannot access them as an object, or we cannot do any operation with primitive data types. So to wrap, to just wrap primitives into objects, the primitive data types into objects, we have the wrapper classes. For all the primitive data types, we have the corresponding wrapper classes in Java. For integer, for int and char, they are different. For int, we have integer, okay? And for char, we have character. And for any other data type, they just differ with the starting case. For int, it is integer. And for char, it is character. But if you take for boolean, right? How do I differentiate between a wrapper class and a data type? If my starting is capital, it is a wrapper class. If it is a small lowercase, it is a data type. So, folks, before Java 1.5, if I have an int variable, I cannot directly assign it to a integer object. So, what is this? Integer is a wrapper class. I cannot directly assign I to this. I have to say new integer of 1. I cannot directly assign 1 to it. We have to create an object like that before Java 1.5. But with Java 1.5, since Java 1.5, we don't need to do that. you can assign a primitive to a wrapper class object, and we can assign a wrapper class object to a primitive directly. So let's say here, folks, if you see this line, I am assigning a primitive data type to an integer object. It is not giving me any compilation error, right? I am able to directly assign this. This conversion is automatically done by Java. Before Java 1.5, if you are using Java 1.4, we get an error, right? But if you are using 1.5 or later, it automatically does the conversion of it. So, when we convert a primitive to a wrapper class, that is what we are exactly doing it here. We are converting a primitive to a wrapper class. That is what is called as auto boxing. It's automatically boxing it into an object. So this is called as auto boxing. But the other way, if I assign, for example, I create an integer variable and I'm assigning an object, an integer object here. The integer object which I have here, if I'm assigning it here, this is known as unboxing. What is happening in this line is called auto boxing, and the other way, assigning an object to a primitive, this is known as unboxing. So folks, any doubts on this auto boxing and unboxing? So if you see this example here, we have, this is a collection list. Don't worry about it now. We discuss collections in detail when we discuss about collections. So here in collection, we can add only objects. We cannot add primitives. But here we are adding a primitive. When I say int I is equal to 1, I is a primitive, right? So I'm able to add it. It doesn't mean that I'm adding primitive I, int I. It's not. We are adding primitive, but when it adds it, the Java converts it into an object and adds it. In collections, we cannot add primitives. We can only put objects in a collection. So, for example, when we have a primitive value and we pass to a method which accepts, say, a wrapper class, it automatically does the boxing. So, it is auto boxing. For example, when we have a wrapper class object, when we pass a wrapper class object, but and primitive int is expected, unboxing happens at the instant. So, or when we assign a wrapper class to a primitive variable, that is what we exactly doing it here. When we are assigning a wrapper class object to a primitive int, it is known as unboxing. A wrapper class object to a primitive, it is known as unboxing. Folks, any doubts on this?
Neha, yeah, one doubt. Like, I can assign integer I obj is equal to 1, right?
Yes.
Simply without the new operator?
Yes, I can do that now, but not with before Java 1.4. We cannot do that.
Okay. With the after 1.5, I can directly assign.
Yes, 1.5 or later. That is what is auto boxing and unboxing.
Okay.
If we are using 1.4, we cannot do that. So the advanced for loop and auto boxing and unboxing are introduced with Java 1.5.
Neha, one question. Sorry if you have explained it already. Why we use this wrapper classes?
See, in Java, everything is a kind of object in Java, right? Even when we use it in a collection. But a primitive is that we cannot do any conversion or we cannot modify it. For example, I have an integer. If I want to convert into a different number system, I cannot do that. It is just a primitive. What can we do with primitives? What can be done with a primitive, Venkat? We can only assign value to it, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, we cannot do anything with it, right? But an object has more visibility that we can call methods on it, we can do the conversion. We can, if you want to convert integer to a string or string to an integer, that is not possible with a plain flavor of primitive data types, but it is possible with wrapper classes, right? If it is an object, it's possible. It is an object, right? So to wrap our primitives into objects, we have wrapper classes. There is a wrapper class for, there is a corresponding wrapper class for every primitive in Java.
So how? So you have typecasting also, right? So we can use typecasting also, right? If
There is
for
no
primitive
necessity. No, there is no necessity of using a typecasting here. The Java is automatically converting a primitive to a wrapper class and a wrapper class to a primitive. We don't need to add cast here.
Okay.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.